Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Topic Tuesday webinar. My name is Seth Koheiser. My pronouns are he, they, and I work as a graduate assistant within orientation services here at the University of Iowa. Our webinar series features presentations by many different campus offices throughout the summer, and you can see all of our webinars available and register for them on Orientation Services website, which is newstudents.uiowa.edu. We will be utilizing the live Q&A feature during this presentation. So if you have a question, please type it into the Q&A chat function and our team will work to answer questions through the chat. There will also be an opportunity at the end of the presentation where we can have our presenter answer questions live. If you want to access this material after today's presentation, you can find the link to our YouTube page on Orientation Services website, which again is newstudents.uiowa.edu. At this time, I would like to introduce Fraternity and Sorority Life.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and being part of our webinar for today. So we're so excited to welcome you and for you to learn a little bit more about our community. First, we're going to start off with introductions just so you can be familiar with everyone. I can go first. My name is Jocelyn Macias. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the current president of the Multicultural Greek Council. And one thing that I value of being involved in fraternity and sorority life is definitely the community that we have here.
Hi everyone, I am Haley Steffen. I am the Vice President Recruitment Personnel for Pan-Hellenic Council. And something I enjoy about being in fraternity and sorority life is just the large network that comes with it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Tiernan. I'm the Vice President of Standards and Peer Accountability for the Pan-Hellenic Council. One thing I value about fraternity and sorority life is the collaborations we have in the community and also with other student organizations at Iowa.
My name's Kai Gergis. I'm the Vice President of Recruitment for the Interfraternity Council. I would say my favorite part about being involved in fraternity and sorority life is just like the broad spectrum of personalities that you get to interact with throughout your time.
All right, before we begin, we're going to start with a little bit of Zoom information for you all. I know this was touched on a little bit previously, but since it is a webinar, the chat feature is disabled and we're just going to be using the Q&A feature instead. We're going to have time at the end for questions, but please feel free to post them in the Q&A and a member of our team will respond at the end of the presentation.
All right, so what is fraternity and sorority life and what does it look like at Iowa? Fraternities and sororities were founded on and promote the ideals of brotherhood, sisterhood, and siblinghood. Here at Iowa, we do have over 40 fraternities and sororities to choose from, each of which falls under one of the four governing councils. And those are the Interfraternity Council, which governs the 16 traditionally housed fraternities, the Pan-Hellenic Council, which is the governing body for our 14 traditionally housed sororities. Both of these councils do have a formal recruitment process for all chapters at the start of each semester. And then the Multicultural Greek Council, which is the governing body for our 5 multicultural fraternities and sororities, representing the Latinx, Asian, and Asian American and LGBTQ communities, yet are inclusive to all cultural identities. And then the National Pan-Hellenic Council, which is the governing body to our 4 historically Black fraternities and sororities. These 2 councils have recruitment processes that are a little bit different, with each chapter hosting their own recruitment events.
Fraternity and sorority life is also unique just because it provides the opportunity to be part of something longer than just your time in college. As cliche as it might sound, we like to say it's not for 4 years, it's for life. Since fraternities and sororities membership is predicated on a lifelong commitment to leadership, scholarship, service, and community. This coming year is especially exciting in fraternity and sorority life at Iowa, as we have several chapters who are either reestablishing or are brand new to campus. So whether you want to join something that's already been established or be part of building up something new, we have plenty of opportunities to do both.
So here at the University of Iowa, we have 5 opportunities to highlight in many different areas in which students can achieve growth during their time in chapter. These areas, they kind of encompass all aspects that we have in fraternity sorority life, and they can be found in everything from academic excellence to community service, defining a community of brothers, sisters, and siblings, and so much more.
But along with these opportunities also come responsibilities. It is important that any student looking to join a fraternity or sorority knows that they will be held to a higher standard. Each chapter and council has its own set of policies and standards, and any potential new member should understand those standards and be willing to uphold them before accepting membership in any of our organizations.
Okay, here are some quotes from current members about their experiences in Iowa fraternity and sorority life. We include these quotes just because we believe that hearing from members really speaks for itself and tells the story of membership. So I'll share something about my membership personally. So while being in a sorority, I've had the opportunity to build deeper friendships and connections with many people within my chapter and throughout the first fraternity and sorority life community. When I joined my chapter, I didn't realize how deep of connections I would make with the people around me. These friendships have made it so I have a sort of like built-in support system for all the changes I've had throughout college, which has definitely helped me with my own personal growth. I've also made friendships through not only my council, but the FSL community as a whole. There are many opportunities to collaborate across councils when you're a part of the FSL community, which is an incredible experience you might not get elsewhere, and is one of the main reasons why I love being a part of this. And without being a part of the FSL community, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet and become friends with so many amazing people.
So I'll share as well. I would say one of the biggest benefits I've gained is leadership opportunity and professional development. Within my chapter, I've held 5 different positions over the past 3 years, being under certain committees or on our exec board, and obviously now I've had the chance to serve for the Interfraternity Council's exec board. So the lessons I've learned in these positions are extremely valuable, and running or helping to run a group of up to 150 individuals is not an easy task, and it's not an experience you really get as a 18 through 22-year-old. And then now, obviously, serving at the university level of things, the lessons I've learned have been ones that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life, and they're definitely something that I would say potential new members could look forward to.
And to touch on a little bit of my personal experience, I was obviously looking for a good balance between social and academics because school was very important to me as well. So I have found that in my chapter specifically, but also just in fraternity and sorority life as a whole, it's actually helped me create a better balance than I think I would have otherwise, just by people in my chapter studying with me or creating opportunities to focus on academics as well as obviously being social at the same time. And another aspect that I've found very valuable and in my experience has been involvement in the community. I have actually become a volunteer specifically for my philanthropy, not just through my chapter, because it has just been a really wonderful experience working with my philanthropy and the people in the community. So making an impact like that has really been important and a highlight of my experience.
I think just to kind of chime in here too, from my personal experience as well, being a Latina woman on campus, my chapter is historically Latina based. And so finding a community of women like me with similar values or trying to find a similar goal to success and such things, especially with higher education and universities and being able to find my community definitely helped me find my sense of belonging here in fraternity and sorority life, which led me to kind of finding my voice here and helped me pursue a lot of different things, which I'm very grateful for.
All right, so by now we are hoping you are all asking yourself this question. I want to join a fraternity or sorority, but now what? So the last part of our presentation will walk you through the basics of your next steps. We recognize this is a high-level overview, and we encourage you to check out our website for more information.
So here are the steps you'll take from here. Step one is deciding which council you're interested in. If you're not sure which, check out our website. We have three councils with sororities and three councils with fraternities. The Interfraternity Council is just fraternities. Panhellenic Council is just sororities. Multicultural Greek Council and National Panhellenic Council have both.
So then step two is to learn a little bit more about the council's joining processes. Each one of the four councils joining processes looks a little bit different. So checking those out, whichever you're interested in is definitely going to help out. More information on each of the joining processes can be found in the link that was just dropped below.
And step three would be to attend an orientation session. Each student looking to join our community must complete a new member onboarding education experience.
And step four is to do your research. So check out the community scorecards. These give data about each council in each chapter, which are a good resource when making your decision. As you research chapters, many have their own local and national websites, but here's some good questions to keep in mind as you do your research. So check out what the chapter stands for, what their values are, and what causes they support. And your research should also include obligations as a member. So what is the cost and how many hours should you plan to commit?
Lastly, just keep an open mind. While it's important to do your research and kind of figure out what you're looking for, it's also a great idea to keep your options open. Every chapter has its own personality, and getting to know the members of those chapters is the best way to learn about that personality.
So if you're interested in learning more, or if you'd like to stay up to date with fraternity and sorority life, please consider scanning the QR code here on the screen and joining our summer emailing list, as we'd love to connect with you all. This is for both students and parents.
We also wanted to share a couple of opportunities with you guys where you can get to know us at the start of the semester. All of our councils and some of our chapters will be at the engagement fair happening on September 4th outside the IMU in Hubbard Park. And also FSL will be hosting the first Thursday on the Terrace of the semester at the IMU Terrace, so in the back IMU. These are both great opportunities to start getting to know fraternity and sorority life members, and we hope to see you guys all there.
Thank you all so much for attending this session. Here's some ways to stay in touch with us. But now we'll turn it over to you all to ask some questions. To get us started, our first question is, what piece of advice would you give someone interested in joining a fraternity or sorority?
I think I can take this one, but I think one piece of advice that we've kind of reiterated a bit throughout the presentation is definitely doing research, kind of seeing what we got going on and what there is out there, is it could definitely help expand horizons and see where you feel a little bit at home.
I would say just make friends with everyone that you meet. You're bound to learn something new from someone new. So just kind of get into those new relationships and see you're bound to find someone you have something in common with, and you're bound to make new friends even outside of the chapter you end up joining.
I can also jump in a little bit on that question, but I would say my piece of advice would be to like stay present in the experience that you're having. It can be really easy to get caught up in the stress and the um, unknown about the whole joining experience for a fraternity sorority, but it is a really great time and it's a really awesome experience in general, just the whole joining process, just to stay present and enjoy it as it comes. But one of our questions here is for someone joining or not joining, transferring in as a sophomore, if there are any drawbacks or considerations given to sophomores. The recruitment process for sophomores will be all sororities will give the same consideration to sophomores as they do freshmen. We actually really do encourage sophomores and any people who are not just freshmen to go through the process. It is a really amazing opportunity to join one of our chapters. So
I can talk, I can answer Thomas here about the rush process. So every like we mentioned, has their own process. I would say Panhellenic and interfraternity councils are most similar. The interfraternity council's recruitment is from September 17th to the 24th. It's a week straight in the evening, get out of the way of your classes. And if not, you can reach out to us and we can figure that out. But the process itself, it's a formal recruitment period. It's staged, so you kind of meet different chapters throughout the whole time. So yeah, that's for the interfraternity council. The Panhellenic council, they do the recruitment from starting on September 15th, and then it is the 2 weekends after that. That primary recruitment period is a little bit more unique, a little different than the fraternity councils. If one of our PhD girls wants to step in and talk about that, maybe you'll have some more insight.
yeah, I can. I would say in a nutshell, it is um, not done in a week, which I think is what is typically known. Ours is just split up, as Kai said, between the two last weekends in September, just since it is after the semester starts, we want to um, keep the keep the recruitment process from interfering with classes and things like that. It's basically consists of going to chapter structures, meeting members, and kind of getting to know them a little bit better before you're making any sort of selections.
And then Jocelyn, if you could touch on MGC and NPHC recruitment.
Sorry about that. We got dogs in the background. I wanted to make sure it wasn't too loud. But I can definitely talk about the Multicultural Greek Council as it is a little bit similar to the National Hellenic Council. But specifically for the Multicultural Greek Council, we have orientations that is on September 11th that we require all interested members to attend, just so they kind of know what's going on. And then each chapter has their respective processes that go from there. So it's definitely a good beginning part to kind of do your research and ask questions to the chapter as they go along.
All right, our next question here is it really expensive to join? Um, This is tough to answer just because the prices really depend on which council you may be joining and which chapter. The prices will vary between chapters and across the four councils that we have. So this would be a good opportunity to visit the Fraternity and Sorority Life website. This is where you can find more of the information about pricing and things like that. Um, so I would take a look at the website to get a better idea of specifically which council you might be looking for here.
For the next question, so it's about the first steps for the video that you will have to do during the first round. So that information you'll be getting like a confirmation email once you register that'll have the questions that you're supposed to answer during that video. It should just be 2 questions, and it's kind of just like an introduction of yourself. It should only last about 2 minutes, and then you'll upload it through the Campus Director app. I believe we'll be having more information about that also being posted on our Instagram. Yeah.
And that is specific to panic recruitment, if that was not clear.
Um, if it's easy to maintain good grades and stay on top of schoolwork while also being a part of FSL, I would say so. Maybe not easy because at the end of the day, this is college and requires some effort. So it comes down to your work ethic, but at the same time, every chapter has academic standards they set their members to, and they typically offer plenty of resources as well to help their members that might be struggling with school. We all prioritize academics here, regardless of chapter. So if you are struggling, that's something that we can help you out with at the fraternity and sorority life level. But the chapter you join should also be giving you resources to make sure that you're successful.
Our next question here is, do sororities require letters of recommendation? Letters of recommendation for Panhellenic specifically are not required. Some people do end up having them, but it will not, having one or not having one will not necessarily affect your recruitment experience. It won't give you an edge in chapters specifically either. So they're not required. And it looks like our last question here is, how would I find out more details about sorority rush, i.e., do all the rushies visit all the houses and things like that? More details, there's a few ways where you can stay pretty up to date. The website has a lot of information about what recruitment is like, the breakdown of the rounds and things like that. The FSL website that was dropped in the chat. Instagram is a great way to stay up to date as well. They will be having continuous updates about recruitment and dates things are closing and kind of things regarding that. But a lot of the information will come at orientation, which is our first event altogether after you have registered for recruitment, which is on September 15th. Um, that would have a lot of the information also about how the rounds are broken down and how all of that works. Our first round is videos, as it was touched on a little bit before. So since it's not, that first round is not in person, not everyone will necessarily, or no one will necessarily be visiting every chapter in person.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I guess we'll wrap it up for today. If you have a question that didn't get answered, or if you think of any questions that come up afterwards, feel free to email us at that email that's right on the screen. So thank you again for some time with us and getting to know a little bit more about our community. And we're really excited to welcome you all in the fall.
Awesome. As a reminder, this content can be accessed on Orientation Services YouTube page, which can be found through our website, newstudents.uiowa.edu. Thank you all for taking the time to attend today's Topic Tuesday webinar on fraternity and sorority life. Following the conclusion of today's Topic Tuesday series, next Topic Tuesday webinar will be on July 23rd about next steps during the transition to Iowa. You can learn more about the series and register for the webinars on our website. All of our previous webinars are also linked on our website, which again is newstudents.uiowa.edu. Thank you and go Hawks.